finding the inverse of the function. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the first function. So I'm going to make that f of x. F of x actually means y. So I can make that be y equals, and I'm going to put that into the calculator. I'm going to Desmos, and I'll go y equals 1/6 of x. Okay. And then I'm going to look at the domain and range of the function. So y equals 1/6. So we'll make that into a fraction. 1/6 arrow over of not s x. Okay, so there it is. There's my line. And so now I want the inverse of that. All right, now to get the inverse of that, I'm going to switch the x and the y. And then I'm going to solve for y. All right, there's two steps. All right, the first step is switch and then solve. All right, so instead of y, I'm going to have x equals 1/6 times y. So that's the switch. I switch to my x's and y's. And then now I'm going to solve for y. So I want y by itself. All right, to get y by itself, I need to get rid of this 1/6. So you always do the inverse, right? What's the inverse of 1/6? 6 over 1. Oops. 6 over 1. All right, the reciprocal. All right, when you have a fraction, the inverse is the reciprocal. So 1's go away, the 6's go away, and so I have y equals. And now if I multiply this by 6 over 1, I've got to multiply this side by 6 over 1. So that would be 6x. So y equals 6x is my inverse. All right, and so if I look at my calculator, and I have y equals 6x, there is the inverse. And I'll go ahead and you can look at that. Notice the inverse, right, is a reflection over the line y equals x. Okay, and if I look at each point, all right, so here's a point on the original one. The original one is green. So I've got this point here is at 6, 1. Okay, so this point here is at 6, 1, and then the inverse of that would be 1/6 because the x and y's are switched. All right, so actually let me come up here and I'll look at if I look at the table here for my original function, right, I can see let's see. Let me close that out. Oops. Okay, so why can't I see that point? Okay. So when x is 12, y is 2, right? And so now the inverse of that would be where you switch the x and the y. So it would be, instead of 12, 2, it would be 2, 12. So if I go over here to 2 and then go up to 2, 12, oops, let me go back so you can see everything. All right, so 1, so here's 2, 12. There it is. So 2, 12. So I can tell these lines are inverses because the x's and y's, the domain and range, are switched. All right. Long story short. All right. So that is that.